And you're still got a red light, and you're still got a red light.
You've got a red light.
Do creative people talk to themselves?
For sure.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
I wonder if most creative people do, or I wonder if this study shows that just everybody talks to themselves. Because, I mean, I have words, I have phrases, I have people and characters. I'm sure this probably doesn't sound weird, but like to some people, they're like, what?
In episode 2 of Magicians Talking Magic, we cover some of the latest magic news. We talk about show failures and our worst moments on stage. Death-Defying Magic is back in the headlines. Magicians promo videos. So let's start here with Strange Voices.
Alicia, my girlfriend, she talks in her sleep.
Oh, she does.
Like
That's weird.
Frequently. It's fun.
What is? Oh, has it revealed anything? Have you?
Nothing's ever been revealed, but the most hilarious was I was like, Alicia, and then she was like, and I was like, are you asleep? And she's like, nothing's for free. I was like, what are we talking about right now? What's going on?
Now, do you use this in your show, and B, do you manipulate this in the next day? Is it like, oh, I'm so glad yesterday you said it was all right that we're going to go see my show, the movies tonight, or whatever decision you have to make?
No.
Do people go to the movies anymore? Jeez.
Dude, we go to the movies.
Yes.
Yeah,
what was the last movie you saw?
We saw Aladdin was the last movie we saw. Have you seen Aladdin, the new live action?
No, the last movie I saw was at the theater was Mrs. Doubtfire.
Like in 1995?
I'm just kidding. Yeah, I can't. I honestly can't remember because the travel lifestyle. Anyway,
so we're planning to go see. Anyhow, it doesn't matter. But we're planning to go see Toy Story 4, the new Toy Story movie. We'll have to go see.
Oh my god, I didn't even know there was a fourth one coming out.
Yeah, the movie's like 25 years old. Did you know that?
Nope.
Crazy.
Well, even the fact that they're doing Lion King again, right? Aren't they? Or
yeah, live action. I'm not sure how you handle. How do you deal with the Mufasa?
I guarantee you that Lion King soundtrack was the basis of more magicians shows than any other soundtrack in history.
Lion King, Phantom of the Opera, and Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah. And that Cirque du Soleil song took the cake. The one that Greg Fruin had it first.
Yeah.
He had it. I'm sure custom. That was his own.
Right.
But that was an incredible piece of music. That was like, how do you sum up magic of the 90s? That's that one piece of music.
There was also one from Top Gun that was used a lot. Like the closing credits song. Can't think of it. Schindler's List has a violin song.
Yeah, I used that, and you know what? In fact, when I was not really knowledgeable as a kid, until even the cruise ship industry, I used that. Mm-hmm. And I had one lady come up to me, and she was polite about it, and she just expressed something, a knowledge that I had not been imparted upon, and so I removed it out of just thing. It was a valuable lesson, especially because I had made that decision so early on as a kid, a magician, and I heard the music, I fell in love with a piece of music, and then I saw the movie. It wasn't there. So there's no excuses here, but outside of, it's just there's some complicated issues that we have artists will face. And it makes it like, are there magicians out there using Michael Jackson music right now? Like these are things that, even in pre-show and such, these are things we have to face as well as magicians, especially to be topical and to be evolving at the rapid rate that we want to.
This is kind of similar, but side topic about music. Mm-hmm. This is kind of something I've been trying out, so I want your live real deal reaction from this.
Oh yeah.
So in my show, sometimes someone might choose the Ace of Spades, right? They've chosen the Ace of Spades, and I'm trying to reveal what their playing card is in a fun way. And I go, can you associate your playing card with a song? And a lot of people now, I get like maybe 75% confused face at this point. Right?
Yeah.
When I ask you this question, can you think of a song associated with your playing card? Do you have a song in mind?
I don't.
No, you don't?
No.
No, see, so this is a failure in my mind. Because I thought this was an easy go-to, but then I realized this is maybe just a pop culture
esoteric
reference.
Magic thing?
No, it's a pop culture reference in my
I'm also not very,
own realm. So, like, to me, if I heard Ace of Spades, I would think of the song called Ace of Spades by Motorhead. But I guess people don't know this song. And people
never heard of it.
Familiar with Motorhead as much as I am, maybe. So I realized this does not work, and I thought it was a super great reveal. And I practiced on like because Lemmy, the lead singer of Motorhead, is a short guy with a handlebar mustache. So I would start there and then work up through, And the whole thing.
The key is take chances.
You got to try stuff, guys.
Yep, try it.
Yeah.
I'm curious what everybody else's failures.
The last time I tried it and I totally realized it doesn't work was at my family picnic, and my cousin, who is a well-cultured person and knows a lot of references, went to Ace of Base. And
like, I saw the sign?
Yes, yeah.
You could just see the sign.
I saw a sign.
Lyrics aren't my thing. I feel, in fact, I could listen to the same song 400 times before knowing the lyrics. I'm terrible at it.
I didn't realize that a couple pop songs were about certain things until Will Smith, your audio guy, told us while we were...
Oh, yeah, the other Will Smith.
The real deal Will Smith, Wild Stallion on tour, explained to me some of the lyrics of popular pop songs, because I don't listen to lyrics either, I just listen to beats.
That's the thing. I have friends that are very, very, very lyric-based. They're usually musos, but also some other friends that are maybe just English-based, I don't know. But for me, I just don't pay attention at all. I'm listening to that feeling that happens with the music. Usually because I'm thinking about it for the show. Like, how can I use this in the show? Is this a potential song? And if it is, I tend to like that song.
Do you want to... What's in the news?
Bum, bum. Another injury. This one, thankfully, is an injury rather than a fatality. And that is the gentleman in South Africa who essentially shot himself in the face with a crossbow at a national arts festival. Ta-da.
I'm sorry. I'm really happy he's so okay.
Yeah, I'm happy.
I'm so happy he's so okay. I'm not sure what happened. Do you know what happened specifically in this thing? Because you had just told me about this.
Yes, there was a decision made to do a trick with a crossbow and a face.
Danger and magic, right? Like, it seems to be coming back. It seems to be a very popular thing.
Can we separate magic from the two? And then just put it in its own category?
Danger stunts and magic tricks?
Like
right?
just danger stunts over there. And some of them just have to be magical. But really, the idea is at the end of it, does the person live or die? That's not really magic. I don't know. It's not my thing. It's not my thing at all.
I guess so. Yeah, that's true. Whether the person lives or... Yeah, there's no... I never really thought about it like that.
It's like, I mean, escapes are not, I mean, they're a thing too, a separate thing. It's its own little deviation of magic. But at the end of it is, I mean, you go through like a 4 or 5 minute journey just to get back to the part where you should have been to begin with. Like there's something about it that's rather complicated. Here, everyone come up on stage and let's do this arduous process that takes, 60% of the routine, where I get physically bound into a position that I'm going to be free in about 45 seconds to a big climax. It's just, it's not for me, but people can sell it. And audiences tend to eat it up. Not everybody, but a lot of people do.
It's kind of like, have you done an escape room? Well, watch me do a really small one right here, right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I guess so. I guess that's what it is. Some, you do see some magic added to these sometimes, or mentalism, where
yes,
maybe there's a bag
surprises.
Of keys,
yeah,
or they vanish and reappear,
yeah, or
they switch with the assistant. Like there's some magic sometimes to it. I also remember when we saw Illusionist, and there was the I don't remember who.
Oh, and that was this the water? I can't remember which.
Grasso.
Oh yes,
is that his name? And
and
he escaped from the water. I remember that actually.
And that's compelling because that's
it was
Houdini,
really
right?
suspenseful.
It's symbolic too.
Yeah, and I know that Matt Johnson does it now too.
Yeah, that's a good. That is a good one. That's Houdini obviously knew theatrics. I mean, at its core, that's.
I think it's because it's one of those real deal vaudeville. Matt does a real deal too, and he comes out. And if you look on his Instagramazing, you'll see all the scuffs and scars on him too.
Right.
Yeah. So it's like one of those real pro wrestling kind of things, which is fun. It's fun in a sense, but it also isn't. Is that magic? I don't know. It's also it's very, I don't know, endurance stunts, endurance sports.
What do you think about Dynamo becoming a judge on Britain's Got Talent, BGT? That's kind of this is all rumors, Reddit kind of stuff. What do you think about that?
That's just rumors and pretend. I think if that were real, that's pretty cool to have a magician on. Like, clearly, I mean, we've seen the Got Talent shows really like magic a lot.
Yeah.
So it only makes sense to have a magician maybe on deck there, right? And
I am all for that.
Yeah, and having Dynamo be like one of the first, that's a big name to have.
It's fantastic for magic.
That's really huge for magic.
Yeah, I think the fact that just having magic so reoccurring would be fantastic. Anything that gets magic's image out there. I don't know. I'm not familiar with much of Dynamo's stuff, to be honest with you, because again, on the ships, internet is not accessible, and so there was that whole era of magic that I sort of gapped on completely, and Dynamo is definitely up there. So I think that would be incredible. I really think that would be an asset and a push forward for magic, assuming that he's well spoken and all that. So that would be great.
Yeah, I think like it would be a good. He'd be a good judge too, because he did like hyper visual street magic, right?
Yeah.
Kind of like the Chris Angel, David Blaine stuff, but even more of a more current sense, I guess. Almost like a really jazzy.
Did he do any danger elements?
There's always danger. There's always some danger elements.
Danger. Do we need a sound effect in there ever? Is lightning? Is it?
Some lightning. Yeah. Do people electrocute themselves?
Should be like crossbow.
A crossbow shot. Yeah. But I think it would be neat to get magicians have a unique theatrical perspective on performance, right?
Yeah.
So I think that would be good to get in the mix on those judges, because usually you have singers and singers.
Right.
Comedians and singers.
Right.
So that would be a neat variety if they did something like that. A different act. Yeah.
Yep. Hypervisual.
Yeah. Like that serial stuff.
Oh, yeah.
That's what he does.
Yeah.
That's a Dynamo.
Hypervisual. Is that what this is coined as? Is that the hashtag?
If they don't call it that, that's what I call it, and then they should take that, because hypervisual is a great marketing term. WWE would be all over that kind of thing.
You're branding it.
Yeah. Don't take it. Hashtag no stealsies.
There's another topic that's got some popularity on Reddit that is card magic done on stage, and people's thoughts to that. Doing card magic on stage is a difficult thing, I think. I said it was pretty much impossible. I don't think any beginner should ever focus on the idea of doing a card trick on stage. And in fact, I said it was damn near impossible. And then I saw amazing Kreskin walk out and get 5 minutes with a suit jacket. So I have since revised my stubbornness on that, to think that card magic is definitely, if you're entertaining, you can do anything on stage. So yeah, that's great. Nowadays I would use the tools that are available to us to make that as easy as possible, because imagine that everyone in your audience is 80, and if you do that, then everybody will get a good visual and everyone will appreciate it the same level. So video can help do that. It's the only tool to help with that. So that's kind of on a production standpoint. What do you think on a technical standpoint?
I do cards on stage. Like, I've always done cards on stage. That's how I started doing things, because it was my go-to, because I did the transition from close-up to doing stage. So, like, it was, the go-to would be like, I'm going to try and do some card tricks on stage. But you start to figure out what card tricks don't work on stage completely, right? They have to be, like, tricks that you can show to the whole audience. Or it's very minimal work, and, like, cards across, right? Or a simple vanish of a card. Or, having someone mind read someone else's mind, and they're just guessing a playing card. Something very simple.
It's all very, very visual and big.
Yeah, well, you can do the repeater card to pocket on stage. That works as a stage trick. That's kind of one of those visual ones.
That's an amazing piece of magic.
Yeah.
That's probably something I would do on stage if I had to be forced to do something right now, right on the spot. I would probably do that piece.
Right. Yeah. I would, if I had to go up on stage, I'd just grab a pack of cards and I would throw them, and I'd catch the selection out of the air. Is what I would do, which is a card trick that plays huge
right
now, because you throw the cards everywhere, and have some really cool pictures from that too.
It's something I've never really thought about, because my backup standard, like behind a monitor, is always a toss deck. So I do have cards, like, something available in the show that's always like in my foresight. It's always there, but that would be ultimately my go-to immediate piece of card magic because that is the best theatrics in the planet, because there's all this action. It is a piece of magic with a deck of cards. So there certainly is all sorts of options available.
You can also, because now like there's so many unique venues that you can play, especially with comedy rooms. Sometimes you end up doing a comic book place or a board game venue. And you can get like a deck of cards for a board game and do, a mind reading trick just by forcing a couple cards. Keep it simple or something like that.
Right.
But now theme it, you're doing a card trick with the props from the environment, so it still works out. Totally fun. And I think too, usually when you do a card trick on stage, it's not about like the cards.
Right.
It's about something else, like the bigger action. The cards just happen to be there to like the vehicle for the whole experience kind of thing.
Yeah, and that's the basis of all successful performers. Is the understanding that it's their personality, whatever it is that makes them unique. It took maybe 15 years to sort of settle into what I am. What do you feel on that?
I have no idea what I'm doing right now, but I constantly keep experimenting and trying. So I do open mic rooms. I like do these monthly comedy shows. I host my own shows. I do kids shows. I'll do shows out on the street. I'm trying everything right now because you got to see what sticks, especially when you're being very creative. So that's where I am right now, and I haven't really honed in on.
So let's talk incidences on stage that didn't hit your expectations.
So I guess recently I did this show in London at the Marion Bad, or Magic at the Marion Bad in London, and hosted by Mike Fisher, right? Friend of the show.
Yeah, man.
Mike Fisher.
Mike's great.
And the show went totally fine. It was a lot of fun, but all of the tricks went south in very unique ways that I've never experienced before.
I watched the show and I didn't see that at all. That's why I made that silly face.
But like the whole entire show kept me on my toes the whole time, because every single trick went south in a weird, ambiguous way. So I had to dig myself out of deep holes, and luckily with it's a comedy mind reading show, so I could say stuff that just made it all work, and it was fine for the audience. But
that's where your improv skills come in, right? Like that's essential.
That's what's happened from all the failures from beforehand, I guess. Yeah.
Oh,
was the last. This show was so awkward, and I felt like the whole time I had to squirm and dance, and I was in disbelief the entire time. But people are forgetting their cards, made up words that didn't even exist in like the conversations we were having. So I'm not sure how that happened. It was just bananas bizarre, but that was a good one. And then another recent one, I've been working on a new routine with a balloon prediction, where I start off with a balloon that would be tied up, and it ends up on the ground, and we don't care about it. And then in the end, there'll be something inside the balloon that relates to the whole set that I was working on. And at a family picnic, the balloon popped before I even got to it. So it's like literally the whole thing just like blew up. So that was a neat experience to learn that. Just like
fragile things. I had fragile things on stage are awful. I do two things I have to say about the egg. I do this bit, and it's literally one of the first pieces I ever made as a kid. Egg poem, you've seen it a dozen times. And so the poem is like ingrained in my thoughts completely. But it also uses an egg. There's an actual egg at the end of it. And so twice I've had it in my pocket backstage, and it just destroyed in my pocket. Right. So, and how do you recover from that quick with a green hanky that's now, so there's that. But once in my entire life, I can't remember if I thought long enough, I could remember where we were, but I just totally gapped completely on the poem. And this is, Full House in some Kenora, Ontario, I'm pretty sure. And the team backstage is just laughing at me, and they're heard it 10,000 times too, and they can't remember it either. So that's not complete. The most recent, I was actually just on stage with some great people, Craig Douglas and Dick Joyner, and we were doing a variety event down in Hamilton. And I just had finished saying to Craig before the show, I was like, You ever had those times where you're on stage and you just realize in the moment, like, oh boy, I'm not going to be able to do this the way it was planned initially, and like the way I've probably done it maybe 5,000 times or so. Isn't that the worst? We had a good chuckle about it, and then like proceeded to have that moment right after that. And it's really not, I can't explain it to you without it being overly boring and complicated, but the basis of it is I rearranged the structure of the show to do this portion solo by myself without the requirement of an assistance of someone backstage. I don't need a dancer or anything. I just need help. And so we had to cut the show a little bit short, so I pulled one bit completely, forgetting that I needed that one bit of information to pull off what I needed a little bit later. So it was just a moment of like, just as a performer, when you have those moments in your head, it's not really anything exploding in reality, but in your world, it's just, it's like, oh shit.
Where do we go now?
Right.
Yeah.
Right,
what do I do now?
Right.
I haven't been here before.
Right. This is uncharted. Yeah. I don't feel comfortable.
I have a question back to the egg in the pocket breaking. Yeah. What do you do then when you break your egg with the silk? Do you have extra silks?
Well, and so for a period of time I was over prepared. I always put everything in a Ziploc bag in my pocket, and I just hated the crinkle. Mm-hmm. And so what I do have an extra one. That's what it is. I do have an extra one, and so it was just get that thing out of my pocket as fast as possible with tissues and stuff, and then like put an extra Kleenex, I think it was, and I don't even remember where we were. And Rebecca worked with me for 8 years. She had all those like details. She was a wizard. So sometimes it would just be like, "Here, could you help solve that?" And she would go. She just was amazing. So so that was probably the silliest thing that ever happened, was with that egg, breaking in the pocket.
Have you ever had to go on stage with just a gross hanky and tough it out anyhow?
No, I would have pulled it. I would, if I felt it was going to be compromised in any way, I would have pulled it. But it's a real pain when that happens, especially if you're banking on the time. Like in my world, it is always tickets usually, and then now it's cruise ship, 45-minute slots. So you have to be specific to time. Time is very, very important. And so like to lose 4 minutes is, especially when they're good minutes. Like I end with that piece now, usually in a solo show. And so and my solution to it as a performer is to put it in your pocket at the very last moment. I have no real sexy way of making that happen, other than literally just putting the whole thing in front of them, like putting it in my pocket and as I set up. But I just don't want to risk it. I don't want to accidentally bump into a speaker or something and ruin that moment. But because nobody wants to fail on stage, right? Like that's the worst thing. And as magicians, like the only thing that will do that is not being prepared.
Right.
And there's variabilities, of course. There's variability.
Yeah, totally. Always be prepared, right?
If you have any like crazy failures, let us know in the comments.
Yeah, do you have a worst show ever?
Do I?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh boy. But this is not magic related. This was hypnosis related. I'm sure I've shared this on a podcast somewhere before, but I'll be fast. It was in a multilingual part of Ontario, and it was hypnosis based, and it was making a French speaking audience. And I remember like just dragging through it, like just hating life for 45 minutes just to be able to get out of there as fast as I could. And what was it, the end? I can't remember, whatever my sign off was. And some comment was made from the audience, like "mer mer mer" or something, and I just it's like on the inside you're just dying, because honestly, that show I've never had such a failure as I had that show, and I don't. You should think back and go, well, what could I have done to prevent it? And the solution for me would have not to accepted it. That would be the solution, because I don't know how I could have changed the outcome looking back at it. But that's a tough one to go through, especially knowing how much that kind of show usually kills. Like on the ship, it sets the ship on fire. And so to know what's capable and then go out there and just with such intensity fail.
Oh no. Yeah.
Brutal. I went back to the room and I called my mentor, Dan, who taught me the whole thing. And I was like, I'm never doing this again.
Yeah. Oh, no. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, boy. But of course I did. And yeah, I just don't think about those times again.
Yeah. My show failure when I was a kid, I did like my first show at the Children's Museum in Toronto. And there was a lot of unique names that I had to deal with. And I remember as a 12-year-old kid myself.
Multiculturalism, you mean? Like,
yeah. Just new names for a young Grimazing.
Right.
So, like, for me, I had such a hard time with these names.
Names in general are tough, and then be the first time on stage.
And dealing with magic and all that sort of thing. So that gave me hard fear for a long time while doing magic to ask anybody their name. But luckily I've worked through that whole thing. And I can now ask people their name, and I make sure I repeat it and I get it right and everything, because it's 2019.
So would you say you're like it's a good skill that you have now, or is it something you're still working on?
It's a better skill. It's totally a better skill. Yeah, way better skill.
Yeah, I'll never forget the first show that I did. When you don't understand what it's like to be on stage, and really what it boils down to is chemistry. You're just flooded with adrenaline, and your body's not accustomed to that much adrenaline at a time. And then not only that, you have to like process and do things. Like the first 30 seconds of walking onto stage, usually of anything, is like, for me at least, still fog. I don't get nervous per se, and on the ship, just walking out, it's just like I could have a coffee in my hand. But when you're in like a new environment where things are weird, you have a higher flood of adrenaline. And so like I have always scheduled it so the first 30 seconds of my show, I don't have to say a word unless it's something very, very, very basic and simple. Because I at that point, I didn't trust myself. And so I wanted to be able to walk out and just know that I wasn't going to fumble, because it's confidence at the end of days that makes being, a good professional on stage and being comfortable. It's just confidence. And when you start shitty, it's not.
Yeah. I find if I because I'm more confident, way more confident now when I do shows. But if I'm not like a little bit nervous in some sort of way before I get up, it's going to be a crummy show. Like I'm overconfident, or I'm not caring enough about the show. I need to be like a little bit nervous. Yeah, to get up there and go and give a good show at least, right?
Yeah, I've lost even some of that, and I sometimes wonder about how the comfort is, only because when it's the same scenario, like you kind of like the ship formula is all the same. I could work on 4 or 5 different ships and it's exactly the same theater setup, all the time in every single one. And the team and all that familiar, but the first time you work with the team, or the first time it's a little bit more nerve-wracking. So it's fun to sort of experience doing the same show with the same team in the same arena over and over and over again, because you can take all of those stresses and put them on other people. And then as a performer, you get to take another step forward. And you can't do that when you're constantly worrying about your own show cues and when you got a pocket, you got this and that, on top of all the production of it. So, yeah, I wish everyone could experience it, but you have to work to get there.
Promo videos, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I already have an old promo video from like the very first time I started kind of being a little more aggressive about getting magic gigs, I guess, and being a little more professional. And it was just consumed of all the clips I just had, right?
That's what the first promo video was?
First promo video. Now I'm working on a new one, and now I have a whole lot more clips, right? I've been on like news shows, TV things. We've done a bunch of various things together.
Yep.
I have a whole lot of clips I can use now. I'm not sure the best way. Do you have good advice on putting this together?
Oh, putting them all okay. Oh, yeah. Mine always starts with the music, I feel. And then I know Adobe Premiere, which is, you can use whatever. I'll just explain this tool in Adobe Premiere, which I don't use. But you can put little, what they call the markers on the music. And then you just basically automatically sequence a bunch of clips to those markers. You know all about this.
You can auto-sequence clips to the markers, though? I didn't know you could.
Yeah, and it'll just boom, 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 boom. Now, it doesn't intelligently think what's the best moment in there, but then you can just slider it across. And so that's a real fun, easy way to just fill a whole sequence of music just based on the beat. So, I mean, if you took the thought process out of it, that's what I would do. I don't. I actually usually start with the best, like I get my best favorite clips. And then I'll put them at the best moments in the song and kind of work backwards. Knowing that the first thing that I've got to do, well, it's like as a formula. And I hear what I think is you've got to start with something that grabs their attention. That's like 15 seconds tops, right? It's got to be usually fast. If it's, and then followed by some kind of title, intro, here's who this person is, then followed by whatever it takes to support the fact that you claim in the video, and then followed by, here's how to get a hold of me. Like isn't really nothing more complicated than that.
Right.
But you have to have those clips.
Yeah. Now, like you have a blog post about kind of like the core tips to kind of get what the promo video should be about, and you kind of like, isn't it kind of like two main?
Yeah, well, I always think it's, for a lot of people, they don't know who they're talking to. And so if you're a magician that has all sorts of different audiences, it's really hard to talk to the birthday audience as well as like the school board districts and things. So you really have to, I feel, define two things. One is your audience, who are you talking about or talking to, and then the second is your intent. Like what are you trying to do with them once you have their attention? Should you be blessed with their attention? Because everybody demands everybody's attention now. So once you've got it, what do you want to do with it? And do that in as short amount of time as possible, because everybody's inundated with all sorts of other stuff. So if you save their time and don't waste it, they'll be happier with you. So my promo video now approach, I don't know what everyone else is doing, but if your promo video is longer than 3 minutes, you're doing it wrong. I don't know. What do you think about that?
Yeah, your promo video should totally be probably about 2 minutes max, because I don't even have enough attention for like more than that.
Right.
I don't think, when it comes to a video, right?
Right.
To watch it, unless it's super engaging or very hilarious.
Right.
But if it's a promo video, you're probably flashing quotes, logos. There's a mix of things in there, because that's what that's what I'd still throw in there, I guess, anyhow, is like some of those, the best reviews.
Social proof.
Yeah, the social proof.
Right.
So like that's not, it's got to be short, but it's for a specific audience, is the people that you're trying to get booked from, I guess, yeah. And you do raise a good point too, like if you are, say you're a kid's magician, you also want to do schools, those are different things, so your video should be a little different. And
it's cheap and easy to make videos nowadays, and if you're generically just saying, here, I've got this show, that's fine. But if you have a specific program that you're marketing to schools, you're going to have a different video for that. So you should have a video that just introduces you to the world. I mean, that's something, a part of the toolkit as a whole. If you offer multiple services, you might need to consider. One is think about their introduction to you as a whole. So if you walk into the website for the first time, the video would have to explain what this person does as a general, rounded, quick introduction. And then if you choose to dive deeper, then each version of that should have something visual to support it. In this case, video is king right now. So king or queen, it's the top of the leader. And so we need to make sure that video is implemented in the, it's got to be something that people are working on right now, and as a business, as a magician in general, it's just got to be used. You have to use the tools as a video editor in your magic business.
Right. Yeah, and you kind of you totally have all the tools to do it yourself. So
yeah,
compared to former prices of some of these things, like Final Cut,
right, or
even the monthly subscription to Adobe, because if you're doing this as a business and a career anyhow,
right,
you can probably afford that monthly fee for all those or the software to do this,
right. And I'm sure that there is accessible tools out there that are, and if we find any, we'll put it in the show page. I'm sure there's something out there. But to be able to use those, YouTube is even making the content creation side pretty easy. They're modern. Yesterday, I trimmed a part out of a video that's been up on YouTube forever, and I've always regretted putting that one moment up, and I'll never tell you what it is. But I took it out, and it passed it in, done, bing bang, boom. So and YouTube even has music available for download. That doesn't impact your monetization, and it doesn't impact your standing with YouTube, and that's becoming more and more complicated. So music, I always buy my music outright so that I have the ability to monetize it. Not so much, but the fact that I don't want people to run ads on it.
Right.
So I don't want people to watch a video of mine. And
you could also just get your video taken down if you have the wrong song for too long on there too. It might just get pulled down too.
Yep. And YouTube is definitely leaning towards there's a lot of regulation happening over in European decisions. And so it's threatening YouTube as a whole over there. It's really interesting stuff that we hope doesn't sort of trickle over to here, but it's all the basis of copyright infringement, and they're not going to support your channel if there's copyright infringement.
Now, back to the kind of promo video idea. You were kind of talking about we were talking about like the different like you should probably have one that if you had a school program here to the school, if you had a corporate video for a Christmas show, do that. Should you probably have a separate website for that too, or do you think you could have maybe one website that was maybe like umagic.com or like umagician.com, and then show kind of all your services there, and then have these, but like if you were, sending out your emails, they're going to go right to the specific page.
Right.
Can that all be on the same page, do you think? Like,
I know my opinion on this is very clear. I'll put it that way. I would do it on one page, and the reason for that is ranking. If you can show authority on one page to Google, they'll start to, like anything you post, they'll give more priority to a site that's been established than one that's brand spanking new. So I would put all the efforts back into it. I didn't know that knowledge 150 years ago when I started this thing, and I really wish that I did, because I wouldn't have bought and purchased so many domains. But that being said, you can use them marketing-wise to your leverage. Like we said, for the festival, we're doing different domains to track and analyze. And so I would just stick to one domain and then send everybody, back to make it clear in categories and separate on your website. Make it no confusion, and send them directly to that page.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's an economical way too. Just have the one, like if you're already on one Squarespace or one Wix,
right?
Now you just need the one, and maybe like you can have separate pages that are fun. And I guess it kind of shows how diverse you are as a performer, entertainer, possibly too.
Right.
I know that's a controversial topic. If that's like a positive,
I agree. Like, as someone who feels like they offer, immediately I have two shows, Hypnotist and Magician, and those two I don't really normally want to be thought of together.
Well, would you say the audience is the same though? Like you're
in their mind, it's in the variety arts category. So we're in the same category as jugglers and everything. But yes, hypnosis and magic have very similar.
Curveball question.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you were to like, so you're already defined as cruise ship magician. You do theater performances, illusionist, stage performer, kind of thing like that. Would you ever do another format of magic or a different venue of magic? Or is there something that you wish that you've always wanted to do?
Oh yeah.
But because when I first started, I saw myself as, I wanted to be Jeff McBride.
Right. Who didn't and who doesn't?
Sure.
Yep.
But that's not me, and it doesn't really work out like that. And I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to focus on that avenue. It just doesn't work out for me. Do you have a thing do you have that? Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, I was thinking, what is the first Jeff McBride move that I would go to, and there was definitely
Medusa faces.
Yeah. That moment, like on the music cue.
When you watch it back, you realize he's really amazing, and he doesn't do too much magic for the first half.
It's
of that.
Theatrics. Yeah.
It's a lot of theatrics, which is so awesome.
Yep.
So awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, that when he bounced those cards off and that jib shot coming in, he was you just tell he was excited. It was great, and the audience was on fire, and the energy was building. Oh, we were talking about promotional videos.
No, if you could do a curveball question, if you could do another avenue of magic, is there one that you've never that you kind of that would be a neat thing to actually get into? But I don't know if,
You know what? I've always loved really intimate small shows where there's maybe 100 people and they're on top of you kind of vibe. I love that. Where you can do anything and you don't need video or whatever. I've got some fun ideas that I thought about marketing a show in that regard. But I've never been good at close-up, only not on the technicality side of it. It's just I've never had an outlet to really do it. Like, I'm not a fan of restaurant work. I love it and appreciate it. This doesn't suit my personality. I always felt it was like the telemarketing of magic. I mean, it was arduous for me, and it didn't resonate. But I love it. Like, you kill at it. And so I just couldn't see myself succeeding in that area. But I should, focus a little bit more on some of the close-up again. It's been a few years since I learned something fun that I can present socially. Yeah. Last thoughts on promo videos. Let's talk about what are the essentials to wrap it up. You gotta have a call to action. You gotta know who you're talking to, and you want to do it in the shortest, concise time with as much of the best of video footage as possible. Only include the best shots. Don't put filler stuff in there. Just make it like a really great, concise, filled with social proof, sort of sprinkled all through it. Quotes and maybe newspaper headings, and these are just words on the screen.
Yeah, and a lot of these, we should really look into free video editing software. But a lot of them have auto templates, so you can just kind of throw in your own text if you want. You don't have to be like a graphic whiz to do it.
Right.
And I'm pretty sure like there's got to be, iMovie or Windows Movie thing or something, right? That does that still. Yeah. With built-in title templates, and that stuff should all be easy. Just don't make it overproduced and too gross, right? Yeah.
And if you want, try Fiverr. I mean, give it a shot. Don't have high expectations for it. There's, I watched a great YouTube video. If I find it, I'll put it in the show notes. And it was a guy that basically he put 3 different budgets on some outsourced. He wanted his logo or something animated, and so one was a high price budget, one was a medium budget, and one was a really high
all
budget.
On Fiverr too.
Yeah, through Fiverr or some kind of a social platform. Maybe one was like Elance or something. And so he wanted to discover which of those was the best, and so it was fun. I'll save the surprise, but if I find it, I'll find it. I'll put it in the show notes. I think it was a good reminder to say that there is ability to outsource some of these things, but if you're a magician that you want to have shows on a continual basis, these are the skills you got to learn.
Yeah, I think this is something you got to start to add to your own toolkit, right?
That's right, the Magician's Toolkit.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Magicians Talking Magic, a touring tricks podcast. Be sure to subscribe, and don't forget you can also watch these podcasts on YouTube in full-length video format, and that's at youtube.com/RyanJoyceMagic. We've got the Oh Wow Magic Festival coming up October 24th to the 31st with live events on the 24th, 25th, and 26th, and the 27th. It's going to be an amazing magicians convention as well as magic festival, so check it out. There's nothing like it out there. This is totally unique. And don't forget to sign up and join Magicians Masterclass. This is unique content for magicians, from enthusiasts, students of the art, and full-time pros. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. We'll see you on the next one.